Welcome back to another episode of Big Apple Breakdown. It's mid-July, so trade season is upon us in the MLB. Yankees making a lot of headlines just in the recent hours, and the Mets are tied for first place once again. Henry, how are you doing?
Doing good. A couple nice Yankees wins the last 2 days. Been not the
Horrible.
usual what we've been seeing lately. They've been really bad. But the two wins against the Mets and their win last night against Seattle were both very refreshing. So I feel like, this is still the same team that got off to that hot start. So usually I'm not the positive thinking one when it comes to the Yankees, but I feel like it's time to be a little bit more positive, and I feel like there's some things on the horizon. I feel like we got good things to look ahead to.
Yes, Yankees fall out of first place within the last week to the red-hot Blue Jays. And, yeah, normally I'm more the positive one and you're more the negative one, but it's kind of roles reverse. Admittedly, I am the type of fan that gets caught up in the most recent thing you see, which it's hard not to, but the Yankees were on a really, really, really cold streak and just playing disgusting baseball. But yes, in the last two nights were good to see. I thought that Mets series overall was very ugly because the Mets had no starting pitching. We still lost to them. They had two bullpen games, and we lost the series. So you never want to see that. But there's a lot of Yankee news.
I feel like that Mets series, that Subway series felt. Sorry, I feel like we're glitching a little bit. I feel like this Subway series felt way different than the first one. Just the anticipation of it. Both teams were kind of cold going into it, and especially for the Yankees, all the issues we've been having, I feel like the juice wasn't there as much as the first time around.
No, I mean, they can't pitch. Offensively, they hit kind of both games. I mean, Jason Dominguez had 2 home runs, who, first off, shout out to him. He's kind of been the lone bright spot of this cold stretch where Dominguez has really put himself in it as an everyday player, in my opinion, but Aaron Boone's not doing that every day, which is definitely a little frustrating. But the pitching's just bad, man, right now. And the injuries of Clark Schmidt, the pitching's just rough.
It's horrible. And the injury to Clark Schmidt, I feel like puts a little pressure on the Yankees that if there wasn't pressure already to go get another arm, now there's no doubt about it. They need to go get another arm. There's no other option. And, yeah, I don't know. I also just like watching Juan Soto this weekend instead of beating up on the Mets and watching him be miserable out there. I felt kind of like, wow, I wish we still had this guy.
Yeah, the Juan Soto, who was, in my opinion, snubbed from the All-Star game, which is kind of ridiculous to me. He should have been an All-Star.
Of course, I think he should have been one too. I know he got off to a slow start, but, that's just baseball. You get off to slow starts. And what he's done since then, he's practically on pace to eclipse his home run total of last year. He's hitting around 260 right now. Just another, if this hot streak sustains a little bit longer, he's going to get up to his 280 average that he finished the year with last year. So Juan Soto, with all the concern we had for him over the first few weeks of the season, I think he's back, and it's time to settle that concern.
Yeah, so with the Yankees, after a cold stretch, to their credit, they made some changes. So Jazz Chisholm recently, last week or so, I've kind of noticed he's been saying he's not a third baseman, a little passive-aggressive comments, not fully the Jazz Chisholm who, goes off and goes crazy in the media. But Yankees moved Chisholm back to second base, and with that, they first benched LeMahieu, and now they officially cut longtime Yankee DJ LeMahieu just a few hours ago.
Yeah, I don't know. I was watching during the rain delay yesterday, actually. They showed Boone's press conference before the game, and one reporter asked how DJ took the news of getting benched. And I was pretty surprised because, Boone doesn't really give the media much ever, but he said that he didn't take it great, which I feel like that's more than Boone normally gives it. And
Yes.
he didn't really elaborate on that. I would think that Boone would have said he didn't take it great, but he's a competitor, blah 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 blah. That normal spiel that he gives. But he just said he didn't take it great. And now seeing today that he got DFA'd, maybe there should have been more to look into on that. But yeah, I don't know.
Apparently, so hopefully the glare's better. I changed my background, but apparently DJ was okay with staying on the Yankees as a bench player, and the Yankees kind of just cut him, which I'm a little surprised by, as there's been rumors last year, the big one, that he was going to get DFA'd and Aaron Judge overruled it. So maybe, because you said to me just on text between us that DJ's actually had a better year than much better year than last year. He's had a good year for his standards. And maybe there's some interest in him from 29 other baseball teams, and the Yankees are doing the right thing. Could that be it?
I think that they really should have kept him. Last year this would have been the right decision without a doubt. Everyone was calling for it and all that. This year, I believe he's hitting over 260 since he's come back from injury. But let me read you this: since June 1st, he's hitting 310, and his OPS is 754 since June 1st.
That's pretty good, but he kind of can't field anywhere now, though. That's the issue. Because second base, he's really bad. You're not going to put him at third base. And the one place he probably can still play is first, and of course they're not putting him there.
Yeah,
so I think that might be more to do with it, because defensively, he's taken such a slide where okay, Henry. Well, I'll keep going. Henry's not on my screen right now, but you're back. Okay, you're good. But yes, defensively has been the big issue to me. And for his standards, I thought he's had a decent bounce back year, offensively at least.
Yes, I agree. And to your point with the defense, yeah, he is at this point in his career, he's a liability out there on defense, and there's really nowhere to hide him, especially with the way Fried pitches. He gets a lot of ground balls to third base, so every 5 days, you can't just pluck him out there at third. You really need Peraza, but now it's really time for Peraza to try to. He's got to prove something with his bat. Yesterday he went 1 for 4, and I made a TikTok video yesterday saying, if we could get 1 for 4 out of him more often, the Yankees would be way better off. I was shocked when I saw that DJ was DFA'd, because, like I said, last year I would have totally expected this, but the way he's been hitting this year, his fielding's been bad, and he really can only play second. And where else really would you put him? Because you have way too many guys at first. So to Johnny's point, you really can't try to pluck him in at first, because you got Goldschmidt, who started really hot, and he seems to be heating back up again. You have Ben Rice, who's just been really good throughout the whole year. There's no spot at DH because that's, Ben Rice and Giancarlo Stanton are kind of holding down that spot. And Giancarlo Stanton, he's starting to heat up a little bit too.
Yes.
Had his first home run last week, had another one last night. So, yeah.
And with one more thing with the DJ thing, the only way he was playing one of your better players out of position. And a huge thing with the Yankees' fault is defensively and guys playing out of position. So getting Jazz back to second base might be, to me, maybe the biggest part of it. And it's something they have to do. And I also think I mentioned this in a TikTok I made this morning, that I think they feel really confident they're going to acquire a third baseman. And especially after just recently Brian Cashman's comments, which I'll read in a second, I think they're confident that they're going to get somebody else to play third base, because it's not going to be Peraza. It's just not.
Also, I saw a stat yesterday that when Jazz is at second and the Yankees win over 60% of the time, when Jazz is at third, that number cuts down to about 30% of the time.
That's interesting.
I mean, it is small. You're halfway through the season, and he's probably played about a quarter of the season, half of the season at each of those positions. So it is a small sample size, but he definitely. Well, one of the things that I find interesting is I feel like his bat's heated up while he's at third, where you would think he's more uncomfortable there, but his bat's has heated up there opposed to second.
Jazz has done a lot to kind of like sacrifice himself for the Yankees, to his credit. He played third base last year, went back this year. And I'm kind of glad the Yankees are now putting him back to second, because it just is the right thing. And it's tough because DJ's a respected guy in the clubhouse, and they've struggled with cutting him, like we've mentioned before. And it is a little sad. I mean, this was a player that was a big part of this little era. You know, he's an important part of the team. And unfortunately, when they re-signed him, it was just the wrong decision. Just flatly, it was a bad contract.
It was like a fan signing.
It totally was a fan signing. I think Michael Kay say that a lot. Yeah.
Yeah. Didn't seem like the organization was going to bring him back. And as much as we give them shit for moves they make, that was a bad move, but they did it to please the fans.
So let's talk some trade deadline. I'm going to read this quote that Cashman said just about an hour ago. And I'm excited and nervous because he says, we're going to go to town. We're going to do everything we possibly can to improve ourselves and try to match up. He also mentioned specifically third base and pitching. So that gets me excited as a fan, but also a little nervous because I like to say this: no trade is better than a bad trade.
Yeah. Okay. What are there options out there where if the Yankees went out and got him, like that have been linked to the Yankees that you would just not like?
Third base, Suarez from the Diamondbacks a big one, but I'm kind of starting to be a little off of him. Batting wise, of course, I'd love him on the team, but again, he's not a great defensive player. I liked Brian Hayes, the one you mentioned on the TikTok. That's one I could see. That's one they've been interested in for like a while. I feel like they've been linked to.
So with him, I feel like because his big knock is he's great defensively, and he was this prospect that they thought would be a great bat too, and they've kind of still been holding on to that. And you know, I don't know if I necessarily see that as a good bat option. There's a story tied between him and the Yankees because his dad played for the Yankees, so there's some history there. But the thing about Suarez is I feel like I would be all in on him typically. But, you know, coming into this year, we talked about how this is a different Yankees team. They're more sound fundamentally, better defensive team. Just like they're not going to be the flashy team that they were last year. Like they have a lot of guys that can mash, but, you know, defensively, they're going to be a sound baseball team that will ultimately lead to more wins. And they have not been that.
No.
Moving Jazz back to second is definitely something that will help. But the Suarez move would be going just 100% against what we thought this team was going to be coming into the year.
And like took a Brian Hayes. I don't know if they you look at their lineup. Of course, you want another great bat in there, but with how bad third base has been when Peraza is there or then Cabrera, Brian Hayes is still an upgrade at hitting wise. And he's very, very good defensively. Arenado still intrigues me. I guess that's kind of the best of both worlds in a way, except you got to eat that contract. Like, not as good as a hitter as Suarez to me, but much, much, much better defensively. And he's a guy that could come up with big playoff hits. But do the Yankees want to take on that contract? And we just don't know yet.
Yeah, and who knows? They might be trying to get the Cardinals to take a portion of that contract.
They definitely
but I feel like at this point in Nolan Arenado's career, he's having one of the worst years of his career right now. And I always loved him when he was on Colorado and his first few seasons in Arizona, or not Arizona, in St. Louis. But he's just a shell of his former self. And you'd be trading for the name Nolan Arenado. You wouldn't be trading for the player today.
It could go into the Andrew McCutchen Yankees type player. Like those type of players where Josh Donaldson, the Wash Yankees.
even like Ichiro, when we traded
Yeah,
for Ichiro, he was not a good Yankee, but like I he we traded for him off of name value.
yeah.
I don't know.
I mean, Ryan McMahon, I don't know if I love that one. He's not had a great year.
He hasn't had a great year, but he had a great year last year. And how much of
Being on the Rockies.
being on the Rockies, there's I mean, I haven't watched much Rocky baseball,
No,
so
yeah.
this is all speculation. But being able to try to like essentially pitch around a good hitter, if you're like the only threat in a lineup, it's easier to attack that lineup because they can strategize their pitching to where I don't know, it's easier to get
The
you out there.
high risk, high reward. Because I mean, not real. Like if you see, this is what good GMs do. This is what the LA Dodgers would do. You see a guy that could be really good on a contending team, buy him for low, and he's a stud for you. So
Mhm.
the McMahon, the ceiling really intrigues me because we know what type of player he could be, and he's not washed like Arenado. Like I'm
And
not putting him there yet.
like the Rockies don't get runners on base. He's a
No,
contact hitter. There's no like situational hitting situations for him to get into,
he'd be in the middle to bottom of the order in the
Like
Yankees.
he's probably up to bat on the Rockies most of the time with no runners on base, trying to get something going. I don't know. I feel like all these things factor in. I remember a story earlier in this year. I think it was Paul O'Neill told it when the Yankees were playing the Pirates, I believe. Oswaldo Cabrera got off to a bit of a slow start, but it was just like a situational hitting where he had a runner on third. He was just trying to get the ball in the air, and he ended up mashing a double, and then started to heat up after that. And Paul O'Neill was like, "That's all it takes." And
Yeah,
like, Ryan McMahon, he's got good mechanics. He's a
he's a
good
great
like
player.
good yeah, and typically outside of this year, he's a good hitter. So maybe he's just on a
Maybe
cold
you're
stretch.
hoping the Jazz route. I mean, Jazz got much better in the Yankees compared to the Marlins.
Mhm.
That's the type of player the Yankees might have to find because there's no obvious just superstar third baseman out there that's like, oh, go for him. And they also need more. They need starting pitching now, which I think might be, you could argue, they need more than a third baseman at this point. Because right now, with Clark Schmidt out for the year, your player of rotation, let's do hypotheticals. It's so Fried, Rodon, and then Heel, if you're hoping, you're really banking on him coming back, and then gets ugly after that.
Yeah, I mean, you're not gonna have Will Warren starting in the
Not
playoffs.
gonna have Marcus Stroman starting, hopefully.
Oh yeah. He can't.
So
Well,
they definitely need a starter. I like Lugo in the Royals.
I like Lugo too.
Byron contract.
Expiring contract. He's had like a strange career almost. When he was with the Mets, he was mostly a reliever. The Padres took him on, turned him into a starter. He turned into a stud. And last year finished second in the Cy Young. Was an all-star for the first time in his career. And this year he's picked up right where he left off. He's pitching great,
Yeah, the Royals are just not good.
Oh yeah, they're not. And I think that's a really good option. I think you look at other options, Merrill Kelly of Diamondbacks, just from things I've been looking into. He was probably the Diamondbacks' best pitcher back when they made it to the World Series. He pitched well against the Dodgers. And I know the Yankees had to get through a couple rounds, maybe even a wild card this year before you can even start worrying about the Dodgers. But I
Yeah.
just think that that he will shine when the lights are bright. We crown the Dodgers every year before the season, and it was game one of the divisional round that year. He went out and pitched. I was researching this last night. It was 6 2/3 innings, and kind of in game one, kind of like set the tone for that series, and they swept the Dodgers in that series. So, he's battle tested. I think that's a guy who the Yankees could
Yeah.
definitely go after and trade for. So
I think I might have a solution to how we could really help the Yankees. So I made a TikTok about the Yankees that they should consider selling. They're not going to do that. My opinion doesn't matter. They're not going to do that. But just going on, I mentioned Trent Grisham as a guy they could trade, his money comes off the books this year. and I think it could help them in multiple ways. First off, Trent Grisham is getting in the way of Jason Dominguez playing every day. And in my opinion, besides the Yankees trying to win the World Series, Jason Dominguez's development is the second most important thing on this team right now. And he's been awesome, but there's not enough room for him to play every day. So what if I'm thinking the Yankees, because teams could use Trent Grisham. I mean, just the New York Mets could use Trent Grisham. I don't think that trade would happen, but Trent Grisham, kind of a similar Montgomery Bader type trade where you trade a Trent Grisham for a needed bullpen or starter. What do you think of that possibility?
I like it, but I feel like the Yankees could still use Grisham. Like, yeah,
of course they can. Yeah,
I want because you can obviously because you can never have too many good players, but obviously you need Dominguez to play every day. But I don't mind sometimes putting Bellinger out there in left field. You know, you saw that play on Sunday against the Mets where John Boy Media was talking about how that's the play that is going to turn our season around. But and I want to go that far, but Dominguez definitely isn't making that play. He has made great strides out there in left field, but I still think that there's he should be playing every day, but you need a serviceable guy where every once in a while he needs his day off. And Trent Grisham, I think, is still too valuable.
I agree with you. It's not like Trent Grisham's stuck on the bench. He's going to be playing, and like I said, if tomorrow was game 1 of the wild card round, he would be in the lineup, in my opinion. But I just think the Yankees, I don't want to say they're desperate this trade deadline, but they have 3, in my opinion, like red upgrades they need. And that's third base, starting pitching now, and maybe I'll put bullpen at yellow at this point. But I just think you might have to sacrifice a starting caliber player like Grisham to get all that done, because that's a lot to get done.
Yeah, now that I think about it, you are right. That would make Grisham pretty expendable. And yeah, you know, in an outfield of Dominguez, Bellinger, Judge, like
it's not great.
That should be not great defensively. Judge and Bellinger, yes.
Bellinger. It's just the Dominguez part's scary.
Dominguez with any outfield, you would say, is not great defensively because it's Jason Dominguez. But you know that's putting a lot of trust in Dominguez, and you're telling him like, hey, it's go time, step up. Like, I don't know, maybe it'll give him a little bit of a kick in the ass.
I also think finding what Trent Grisham is supposed to be, which is a defensive outfielder, is easier. It's not that hard. You could literally find maybe one in the minors, or you could trade for one like that. You know what I'm saying? Like what Trent Grisham was supposed to be is just a backup great defender. Those guys aren't impossible to find. You could replace them very, very cheap.
Of course, but also I think
I love Trent. I love Trent.
I do too. That's why it's hard because he's been more valuable to this team than we could have even thought. And it's his bat. Like, you're not out of a quote unquote defensive guy. You're not gonna find the bat that he's had this year.
No, but
you know
he's turned into more than a defensive guy. Yeah,
Grisham has his lapses out in the field. For as much as we love to say how great he is defensively, he for sure, because he tries to make everything look so nonchalant, and then it ends up biting him in the butt where he makes little errors out there in the field.
I think Brian Cashman is gonna have to get really creative this trade deadline, and I also I'm a little worried with his comments. He's gonna, like, I know we all want this guy to be aggressive, but I'm gonna give an example. So 2 years ago, 2023, a lot of Yankee fans were frustrated. They were very content at the trade deadline, and the guy I think a lot of people wanted was Cody Bellinger. Let's just say they do that trade. They can't get Juan Soto in the offseason. You get what I'm saying? The better players are available in the offseason. And I'm just a little worried. What if Cashman does a trade for a good baseball player, but you don't have your assets to get an amazing one in the offseason? And I'm typically the guy who likes to go all in, but they just have so much to do, in my opinion. It's just hard to fill this roster out at the deadline.
I don't. I like Suarez at this point just because of the bat. His money comes off the books at the end of this year. I do like the idea of trying to trade Trent. You've brought me around to that. And just like another pitcher who I've thought about, this would be, in my opinion, like a dream get, is if the Brewers are selling Wandy Peralta, his money comes off the books at the end of this year. And he's still
Freddie?
29. What?
Do you mean Freddie Peralta?
Freddie, sorry.
That's okay. Just
I always say.
Yeah, I mean Wandy was a Yankee, so you're gonna.
Yeah. Freddie Peralta of the Brewers. He is having arguably a career year this year, about to cash in after this season, and I could see him. I feel like he's definitely going to leave Milwaukee and go get his payday. Mm-hmm. Why not trade for him now and then try to work towards an extension?
I mean, you're right in a way. Like what the Brewers did with Devin Williams, they traded him just now instead of having to worry about him. That is a Brewers thing to do. Corbin Burns they didn't keep. I wonder if he's probably available at the deadline. Why not get a few assets? You're right.
That's what I'm thinking. But maybe, they trade away Corbin Burns and Devin Williams because they're like, hey, we have this guy we want to pay in a couple of years.
I don't know if they're ever going to pay. The Brewers know what they're doing though. Like they'll find another one of these guys in a year or two. That's just how they are. They develop. Like to their credit, they're very good at it. They just don't pay. They rarely pay players. You never know though. Maybe they want to keep Peralta. I don't know that, but based on their history, I mean, I think they're going to want to trade him.
Yeah, right.
And to their credit, I mean, Burns just got Tommy John and Devin Williams. It's going to be very interesting. This is kind of off-season talk, but I wonder what his money is going to be next year because he's been good for the Yankees now. He's been the only guy good in the bullpen right now.
Yeah.
Wheeler's been terrible.
What about Leiter's injury? He's been pitching with that broken leg the last few weeks.
I kind of feel bad for Mark Leiter. I feel like that's him and Volpe are the guys the Yankee fans just hate on, which Volpe, in my opinion, is rightfully so. I compared him to Daniel Jones, but like Leiter, like I don't know why. Like it's not like Leiter's supposed to be this stud for the Yankees. I kind of feel like he's turned into this guy the Yankee fans just hate. But that's how long do you think he'll be out for? I didn't see the exact injury.
I think it's like 8 weeks. It's a stress fracture.
Yeah, who knows if they see like even that, like that's the guy that eats innings. Like they need bullpen. But luckily, I don't think they need top of the end bullpen. They already kind of have that with Weaver and Williams. You could just get guys that eat innings, guys that can be productive for really cheap. So that's not too hard to find at all. You could do that kind of easily. You could Tim Hill was off waivers,
and he's been amazing for the Yankees.
Yeah.
So
bullpen, I'm not because, of course, you'd like to have another high leverage arm, but they kind of already have the two guys, so it's not the job's easier for that part, in my opinion.
Also, the Yankees have used their bullpen a ton in the last few weeks this year. And it's easy to sit back here and say that the bullpen hasn't been performing, but how much is that? They're just taxed, like
some of it. The bullpen has been pretty bad, but
they've been pretty bad, but they've been certainly overused a little bit. So I don't know.
Well, now I mean the starters. It's just you got Fried and Rodon, who you have to just rely on to get at least 6. Now you want to say 6 innings. Then after that, man, like tonight, Cam, what's his last name? Starting a guy making his debut.
Yeah,
he has a weird with an S. It's something with an S. I can't remember how to say it with that man. But like, you're having guys like these guys pitch. So I think starting pitching, in my opinion, is more of an importance to upgrade at third base this way. They're both really, really big things they need to upgrade. But I mean, the bad luck of just losing 3 really, really key rotation starters last year with Cole, Schmidt, heal up to this point. It's just that's why I consider this year could just be a wash. Like, how many teams go on to be very successful after that many injuries? I mean, I guess LA last year, which, but still,
you can't wash a year
you're
in Aaron
right.
Judge's prime though.
You're right. It's not right to do to a player that good.
Yeah, it's not even that he's very good. He is something we've never seen before.
Yeah.
And for him in the middle of his prime, we're kind of getting towards we might be getting towards the end of his prime. How many more years can he keep this up? He's older, not older, he's what, 33, bigger guy. I feel like guys like that, once the wheels start falling off, they fall off hard and they fall off fast. Like when you start seeing Aaron Judge break down, it's gonna be quick, and I feel like he'll just,
unfortunately, yeah.
That's just how it goes for those guys.
My dreams, they get Jacob deGrom, but that's just not gonna happen. I would love it, but it's just not gonna happen in my opinion.
I see that, but I feel like he's having a great year, but I think there's more realistic options.
Oh yeah, there definitely is.
Like in terms of Freddie Peralta can come in and be almost just as good.
3, right? They don't need a number one. That is true. Like, it's not like they need a number one. They usually need a solid 3 or solid 3. I won't even say 2.
And Peralta is a number 1.
Yeah.
But
that is true. But you're like, DeGrom would just cost so much, and you have to take on that contract. I also don't see any reason the Rangers should trade him.
I don't either.
Because he's having such a good year. Like, you shouldn't trade a guy like that who has years left on his contract.
And a team like the Rangers, year in and year out, they're expecting to put a team together to win. So even if they do sell, I see them doing more of like a strategic sell, where they're not selling off everything, maybe just like retooling for next year.
This is interesting. What I'm seeing, I just did a quick search. Zach Gallen could be apparently on the market. He's had a not great year for the Diamondbacks, but he's typically a great pitcher. Diamondbacks could be interesting. They got a lot of players teams would like. And they're good at sellers, it's looking like.
Suarez, I mentioned Merrill Kelly, you mentioned Zach Gallen.
I even saw Marte. It's like very not realistic, but I've seen fans try to speculate.
I've seen fans try to pull for the Yankees to trade for Marte for like years.
Oh, I mean that would be a dream if they could get him. Or have you seen the one say call up Cleveland for J-Ram right now?
Oh, yes, I did see that.
That would be the dream, actually. There's no way he gets traded.
That's the most unrealistic thing ever, but I have seen a lot of people talking about how he's just not the same player since Josh Naylor got traded.
That's right. That's kind of funny to think about.
Because they don't have Josh Naylor behind him to protect him, I guess.
I mean, he's still hitting 316 home runs, 44 home runs.
Yeah.
He's still a great player, but hey, I mean, I wouldn't think Rafael Devers got traded if you asked me this in March. So
yeah,
it's different. J-Ram's not that guy that's gonna be complaining like that. But my point is, guys can get traded.
Also, Cleveland's not like doing him as dirty as the Red Sox did. Just like
he's their franchise guy there
out of his position. But also, I mean, we've seen it with Cleveland, like Lindor. They're not too. They don't hold on to their superstars.
I believe J-Ram's paid though. He didn't take that much. He could have gotten way more.
Oh, probably, yeah.
Which, I mean, I don't know. You're right. Cleveland, that to their respect to that franchise, they actually they're typically like a good team when they're not really paying too much. But I don't. This year's kind of been a really bad year. Have you seen how bad their offense has been? Like, I know we're a New York sports show, but their offense has been like historically bad this month.
Really?
Like scoring 0 and 1, like horrible. But I also saw I think it was Brian Reynolds. He has a no trade clause.
Oh yes.
That was dude must have so he had a no trade list of 2 New York teams, LA, like Toronto, and 2 other playoff teams. I've never seen anything like it.
Yeah, it was the Giants, Dodgers,
Yeah,
Yankees, Mets, Blue Jays. I don't think the Angels were on it, and Oakland wasn't on it because people were speculating, saying it's just the states with high taxes, but Oakland wasn't on it. What's it? Who else? There's another.
That's crazy.
I think the Padres were on it.
He came out. Padres are a good team. Were they on it or no?
I think they were, and I don't think the Angels were on it. It was weird. I saw that
fake.
I saw that John Boy Media posted it, and I thought it was like a dupe account that posted it.
Yeah. I kind of want to talk about the Mets a little bit. I think the most obvious fit there for them, at least for starting pitching, is Luis Severino just going back there.
Yeah,
he's been pitching horrible at Sacramento, but he's been fine on the road. You know, as long as the Mets are willing to take on that contract, I see no reason why there's not a trade to be made there.
Yeah, and
it's just maybe the Yankees. I don't see it right the way it ended.
Not even the way it ended. I just think that it's
don't like the player anymore.
It's just not in the cards. It's just not something.
I doubt it too. I think the Mets, that could happen. They're also going to be needing bullpen and maybe an outfielder. Jarren Duran was a rumor about a month ago, but I don't know if that one's going to happen.
I think the Jarren Duran thing's odd because I feel like the Red Sox are still trying to make a push almost. So why?
Yeah. I mean, I don't know what the Red Sox are doing, to be honest with you.
I don't. Yeah, no one does. Because
the whole Rafael Devers thing was interesting. I still kind of, I think a player like that you try to keep instead of just saying kind of we're the Red Sox for the franchise. But kind of a little off topic.
Or a player like that. I mean, it's fine. We're rambling, but it's fine.
Yeah.
Or a player like that.
Talked about the Yankees, so
yeah. Or a player like that, you don't go against, like, go behind his back in the first place. If you're gonna do something like sign up another player at his position, be front about it, be forward about it, tell him, and you don't have to get his approval. You tell him, hey, this is what we're doing. But
yeah, and they also traded away Mookie Betts. Like for that, this is just a franchise that just they're not prone. Like of course they love to get superstars, but they're not like the Yankees. This would never have happened with a player that caliber.
Mookie Betts would have been a Yankee for life. But they operate more like a small market team too. A lot of baseball teams.
They're kind of cheap, which they shouldn't be. I'm just looking. Caleb Ferguson's an option for the Mets, apparently.
Oh, I saw
okay year.
I saw Dennis Santana as an option for the Yankees.
No shot he ever. He's bounced back kind of too. I mean,
yeah.
If his name's in trade discussions, that's saying a lot.
I saw something about Andrew Heaney and IKF for the Yankees. Listen to this. And whoever it was that I was watching, they said if the history wasn't there, if their Yankee tenure never happened, everyone would be open to it.
They're probably right.
And they are. Well, Andrew Heaney definitely. I don't know about IKF.
Yeah, IKF doesn't.
He's just not an exciting player. I don't know.
And I don't know how I don't know how he is defensively. He never played third for the Yankees. Mm-hmm. So he's kind of a utility guy. Like I want a lockdown third baseman. And that would be awesome. And if not, you want to hit like Suarez. And IKF's neither of those.
Yeah, no.
He's a contact hitter. And is a utility.
I looked up his StatCast numbers. He's not great defensively this year.
Yeah, I don't know if I don't see. I think Brian Hayes is the one they should go after.
Brian Hayes or Suarez. Like his fielding, his range is well below average. His arm strength is well below average. He's the wait,
Seeing,
21st percentile in both those categories.
do you think the Yankees should stay away from a left-handed pitcher just so they're not too left-handed heavy for starting pitching, or you just think beggars can't be choosers with this?
I think beggars can't be choosers,
Get the
but
best player.
if you have the option, yes, stay away. But it doesn't. It seems like most of the options out there are righties.
I saw Jeffrey Springs of Oakland, or sorry,
Okay.
I guess Sacramento now, or I don't know.
A's, yeah.
Yeah. And it's gonna be interesting. I mean, it's this time of the year where rumors are gonna happen. But yeah, I mean, Casper's got a lot to do. And what scares me is every other 29 teams know this too. I love hearing be aggressive. I want the Yankees to get better, and he's kind of those quotes. He's kind of promising they're gonna get they're gonna be a better team in August than right now.
Yeah, so it's definitely interesting to see what they're gonna do. I mean, I feel like it's not
saying that publicly crazy is wild unless you're so confident something's happening, because it's all about leverage with these general managers to make trades. And saying that, everyone knows now that you're going to be aggressive and kind of desperate. We'll see.
Yeah, so they could kind of hold you hostage and make you overpay for a player. Whereas if you're saying something to the effect, if you're giving the impression through the media that, oh, we're fine, yeah,
no one's going to believe it, but you're saying it.
Yeah. And then if a team really wants one of your prospects or something, then you're kind of like, then maybe they are coming harder to try to get one of them. But
he also, I think maybe one of our last topics, he also doubled down on Volpe being a guy part of the future, being the shortstop, which, I'm really starting to, I mean, I'm not starting to, I don't believe in Anthony Volpe anymore. I just don't.
Even Boone yesterday on Talking Yanks said that people are expecting too much out of Volpe, and I get that. I get that people are, because of the history of our franchise, because we had Derek Jeter. I get that people want this to be, a feel-good story of the homegrown kid taking over for the captain at shortstop, and it's just not that. But it's not even like he's a serviceable player right now.
Exactly.
And I hate to hate on Volpe because I'm always going to root for the guy, but he's just got to, he's got to step it up. I don't know.
He's not a good he's not even an okay baseball player right now. I mean, his numbers are just 217, 10 home runs, 40 RBIs. Like, he's getting worse. That's not what you want to see.
And the thing is that the 40 RBIs, he's left over 150 guys on base. Imagine if he
a little better.
He could literally have 80 RBIs right now.
I love how that stat was true, because like it did feel like every single time he's up in a high leverage situation, he gets out. But I love how that stat was actually true, that he leads the MLB in it.
It's insane.
I just, my issue just is, and they're not going to be able to fix this at the deadline. There's no other option. There's no other option to bench him. Like, you have no one else to play.
Yeah, that is true.
What bothers me is you have a guy like Jason Dominguez who has every right to be an everyday player at this point. His bat is good enough to be in the lineup, and he isn't getting that because of the guys in his competition. And that's what frustrates me. Like, I'm really high in Dominguez, and I don't know, this is kind of a Dominguez board thing, but this is a guy the Yankees should really be focusing on. And it feels like, Volpe, they just get like, they give every opportunity to this guy. The only positive thing I could say about the Anthony Volpe experience is he hit in the playoffs, which does matter.
It does for sure. But yeah, it's
you gotta be a regular season player too.
There's no other option at this point. It's not like there was really an option to trade for. I just don't. I feel like his approach is all messed up. He's still trying to be like a power hitter, and he just gotta try to work with the hitting coach and become more of a contact guy, because when he's trying to just like slap the ball into the gap or make contact, he's a much better hitter than what he is when he's just trying to hit bombs. I don't know. And it seems like he's trying to hit the ball as far as he can too much.
There's a lot wrong with him. I don't know. I'm not trying to just go completely off of this guy, but it's struggling. And it's frustrating to see. And I just like, you're right. Like even yesterday, like yesterday's a great day. You know, you win 10-3, you blow out a first place Mariners team, or I don't think they're first place, but they're a playoff team. And then you check the box score, and yep, there's Volpe, 0 hits. Like,
yeah, and he came up late in the game, and I was just thinking, please, just like get something, because everyone else was hitting, and him and I think Dominguez was also hitless, but I was just like please just get something going so that this isn't the continued storyline, and he just couldn't.
Yeah, I mean, I know we're ripping on Volpe a lot right now, but it's definitely frustrating to see. Let's see. Any other thoughts before we end this episode?
I think we pretty much covered everything.
Covered it, yeah. I mean, it's crazy just looking at the standings. I mean, Toronto is 3 games up on us right now. I mean, we got to start Toronto. There's no way they keep up this pace. That's just
yeah. I don't think so. Especially, well, I don't know if you saw Michael Kay talking about their run differential. They're totally outperforming what their run differential is. There's some formula that accounts for all of that, and they're totally outperforming that. So essentially, this pace, although it's very impressive, it doesn't seem like it's sustainable for them. And like I said earlier, the Yankees, this is still the same team that got off to that hot start. So I think that they can refine that.
I hope, you know, this I said to you that these next 6 games are really, really important. And let's hope we can finish the All-Star break well, because you got a good Chicago team coming up after this Seattle series. And you want that taste going in the All-Star break good. And you're feeling good about it.
Going there on a good note.
Trade deadline after. So we'll see. Hoping for a turnaround. Hopefully the worst is out of the way. And hopefully we get back to first place. Hopefully next time we talk, we have a little more positive stuff to say.
Of course. And we definitely have more positive stuff to say than if we did this Saturday night. You know?
I know. We did this Saturday night. It would have been, you'd have heard me saying trade the entire team.
So, yeah.
But thank you guys for checking us out. We might do another episode this week. Talk more about Yankees, Mets, trade deadline's busy. Maybe some NBA offseason is kind of winding down, so maybe we could give an outlook on the Knicks team.
Of course, yeah, guys. Thank you for all the support. Thank you for interacting with all of our content that we've been putting out. We've been trying to put out more TikToks and Instagram stuff, so just trying to give you guys more things. Hopefully, we can start putting out a couple more episodes. We just got really busy schedule, so it's hard to coordinate these. But yeah, so just keep liking, commenting, subscribing. Follow us on all of our social media channels. Go buy your Dugout mug and use code Big Apple for 20% off. Thank you, guys.
See you guys.